For privacy reasons, the names of all characters in this story have been changed. Emma had just started her job as a babysitter and was excited about the opportunity. The family she worked for had a lovely home in a quiet suburban neighborhood. The parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, were going out for a rare evening out and left Emma with their two children, Lily and Max, both of whom were well behaved. After the parents left, Emma settled the kids into bed and started watching TV in the living room. The house was quiet, except for the occasional creak of the old wooden floors. About an hour later, Emma's phone rang. It was Mrs. Thompson, checking in to make sure everything was okay. "Everything's fine," Emma assured her. "The kids are asleep, and I'm just relaxing on the couch." "Oh, good to hear," Mrs. Thompson replied, her voice calm. "I just wanted to remind you to check the locks on all the doors. The weather is pretty stormy tonight, and it might be good to make sure everything is secure." Emma nodded, even though Mrs. Thompson's concern seemed a bit unusual. She walked around the house, checking the locks on all the doors and windows, and everything seemed secure. She returned to the living room and resumed watching TV. A few minutes later, Emma received another call from Mrs. Thompson. This time, her voice was tinged with urgency. "Emma, I need you to check on the kids. Are you sure the doors are locked? I'm getting a strange feeling." "Yes, I checked everything," Emma replied, trying to reassure her. "The doors are all locked." "Okay," Mrs. Thompson said, but there was something unsettling in her tone. "Just make sure everything is okay. I'll call you back in a few minutes." After hanging up, Emma decided to check on the kids again. As she walked down the hallway, she heard a soft thump from the kids' room. Her heart skipped a beat. She gently opened the door, but the kids were sound asleep, undisturbed. Emma sighed in relief and turned to leave, but as she was about to close the door, she noticed a figure standing in the dark corner of the room. The figure seemed to be wearing a dark coat and hat, and it was just standing there, motionless. Panicking, Emma quickly closed the door and rushed back to the living room. Her phone rang again. It was Mrs. Thompson. Emma answered, her voice trembling. "Mrs. Thompson, there's someone in the kids' room. I think..." Mrs. Thompson's voice cut her off. "Emma, listen carefully. The call you're receiving is not from me. I'm on my way home right now. Get out of the house and call the police. There's a man in the house pretending to be us. He's already been seen in the neighborhood." Emma's blood ran cold. She grabbed her phone and fled out of the house, dialing 911 as she ran. The police arrived within minutes and conducted a thorough search. They found no sign of the intruder inside the house, but did find a series of strange, unsettling clues. A collection of photographs of Emma and the children, taken from outside the house. Emma was shaken, but relieved to be safe. The Thompsons, though anxious, reassured her and promised to bolster their home security. The police advised Emma to stay with friends until the situation was resolved. That night, Emma stayed with a friend and tried to put the terrifying experience out of her mind. But just as she was beginning to relax, her phone buzzed with a new message. It was a photo sent to her from an unknown number. The picture showed Emma, taken from inside the house, while she was in the living room. The caption read, "You thought you could escape?" A chill ran down her spine as she realized that the intruder had not only been inside the house, but had been watching her every move. The realization that the man had been so close, yet so hidden, and could still reach her even after the police had left her paralyzed with fear. From that day on, Emma could never be sure if she was truly alone. The thought that someone had been watching her, waiting, and had somehow found a way to contact her even after she thought she was safe, haunted her. The terror of that night lingered, leaving Emma in constant dread of who, or what, might be lurking just out of sight. Thank you for watching. Always make sure your doors are locked and that you're truly alone before you settle in for the night.